happy to have Rudy Rochman with us in studio. Thank you for being here.
Of course, good to be here.
I've been following your work for quite some time. I mean, you've been devoting years and years and years to this topic, and you yourself have such an interesting story. Explain the journey into the We Were Never Lost series and why this was something you felt you had to do.
Of course. So usually a lot of stories start at a Chabad house. And so I was a student at Columbia University in New York. I was at a Chabad house, and a former student, came to the Chabad rabbi with a large kippah. And she said she had gotten it from Africa. And for me, when I heard Jews in Africa, I thought either South African Jews, Ethiopian Jews, or Israelis after the army or expat businessmen. And she pulls out her phone with black Jews wearing tefillin, talking about Mashiach, wanting to go to the army in Israel. And I was mind blown. How could there be other members of our family that we had never even heard about? Now, then we realized that today, the 16 million Jews that we are around the world are the descendants of 2.5 tribes, Yehuda, Binyamin, and half of Levi. We are 12 tribes. There's 9.5 tribes of Am Yisrael that have yet to come back. And they're in the four corners of the earth, in Africa, in Asia, and South America. And the goal of our project is to bring their stories back to the consciousness of our time, to reconnect them, of course, through the right way, and to be able to rebuild what Israel is supposed to be. If you have a vessel, you break it, smash it into many pieces, you want to put it back again so it can hold the water, so it doesn't leak out, you need all the pieces there.
And I mean, we know because all of our prophets from the Rambam on down have been talking about the lost tribes. I mean, a lot of the purpose also going to the United States was thinking they would find the lost tribes there. But talk about Africa in particular, because there is such an interest and, proof that many of the African nations come directly from the destruction of the Second Temple.
Of course.
Explain that.
So we already know about the Beta Israel, the Ethiopian Jews. And so if you already have Jewish communities who went not too far outside of Israel, America is much further than Africa is, there are other communities who spread to other places. Now, if you go to South Africa, Zimbabwe, South Africa, even on the coast, on the East Coast in Tanzania, you actually have Yemenite Jews who travel to those places. You have the long Yemenite shofars that come from a kudu. There's no kudus in Yemen. It's an antelope that is only found in Africa. So you had many trade routes from Yemenite Jews that when Islam came and started to forcibly convert a lot of Yemenite Jews to Islam, a lot of them fled to the eastern coast of Africa. You also have the Igbos who descend from the tribe of Gad, who fled through the Sahel corridor and eventually get to the southern region of today Nigeria called Biafra. It's literally called Biafra inside of Africa in Hebrew. And so they've kept Nida, they've kept circumcision, they've kept Rosh Chodesh, the changing of a new month, they've kept Kashrut, they kept this identity that they're a part of Israel, and one day they will come back home. And so this is the day. Today, with travel, with social media, with the ability to get to these different places, we have a responsibility to realize that we have other brothers and sisters of ours out there. Some of them have to do Giyul, some of them have to do Giyul L'Chumah, different conversions according to the halakha, to the religious court. But depending on what is decided, we know, all of us, that there is something here, and we have to get to the bottom of this to bring back the entire family of Israel back to home.
And you're doing this, I mean, has not, come without pushback. I mean, already you're a fighter, a soldier, you were a lone soldier, and you've had to be engaged in both the war in Gaza and also Lebanon. You're subjecting yourself to a lot, and explain the bravery that comes with all of the above.
Sure. So I see myself as a warrior of light. I'm not a warrior to just do war, and I'm not just living in light just to live in some kind of reality. I'm here to create a reality of light. Now, unfortunately, we have enemies today, and sometimes you have to stand up and go fight. So on October 7th, I went back to Kfar Aza. I was called back as a reservist, fought on October 7th tonight. Hamas in Kfar Aza, then first unit into Khan Yunis, into Gaza, first unit into Al Adais in Lebanon, and in a few days I'm going back into Lebanon. So that's the physical combat, but there's also an ideological combat. We could see the world, all the different extremes are all coming to the same conclusion, that the Jews are the source of the problem. The right sees us as the left sees us as the right, the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis were enemy number one, the black supremacist Farrakhan's, the extremist Christian, the extremist Muslim, the extremist secular people. All extremes agree on one thing, that the Jews are the problem. And for me, it's not because we're doing something that's wrong, it's because we're not doing enough. We, as the Jewish people, have a vision, have a mission statement, one that we chose, which is to do tikkun olam, to heal the world, and to be ol lagoim, a light to the nations. So what does that mean, to heal the world? Wherever there's hatred, jealousy, materialism, idolatry, we have to fix that. What does it mean to be a light to the nations? When people are living in darkness, they can't see, they're bumping into each other. We can see all the nations bumping into each other and fighting. We are the nation that's supposed to turn on the light for people to be able to walk. Now, if you have a body and every nation has its own function, what is in the function in the human body that heals the body and empowers the rest of the organs? It's the immune system. When the immune system does its job, the body is healed, the body is healthy. When the immune system doesn't do its job, the body is sick. So we're not blamed for the diseases because we created them. We're blamed for the diseases because we have a responsibility to correct them. And that's what
we're blamed for a
is.
lot of diseases throughout history. The bubonic plague was our fault. Everything was blamed on the Jews. So, lastly, you are really engaging a lot with people just on the street in the States, and you have a very special way of finding a way to connect while also to inform. Have you found it's been effective? Are there people that have said, he has something to say, and have actually sought out learning more?
Of course, whenever I'm engaging in a conversation, I want to understand who I'm speaking to. Is this person older, younger, on the right, on the left, religious, secular, Christian, Muslim? And so once I understand who they are, then I can find the truths that they have in their narrative and connect my truth to their truth. Because no one wants to hear, you're wrong, I'm right. They're right away going to reject it, even if you actually are right and they're wrong. They want to hear how they're right and show them how they can be even more right on their own terms. So someone's going to come to me and say, are you a Zionist? I already know by the way that you're asking me that question is that you're probably anti-Zionist. So before I even answer, I'm going to say, well, what do you define as Zionism? And once they give me their definition, I could already tell where they got it wrong, what they do actually connect to that is right, and how I can give them a different definition that allows them to see the perspective in a different way. And I think this is a tool for communication for anyone and everyone. Whenever you're speaking to someone, the point is not just to regurgitate information that you can say in the mirror. The point is for the person to understand you. So understand who you're speaking to first and connect your truth to their truth.
Wow, beautiful. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Rudy. And we're looking forward to seeing the first season of the docuseries.